Hey guys, happy Saturday. Tanya Landis here. I wanted to hop on. I originally was going to do this video in my team page for my business. For those of you that don't know, I have a fitness business that I run online, and I have a large team, and I was going to do this for them, but it's a reoccurring theme that I see a lot of, and so I actually wanted to pop on and do it publicly because I feel like a lot of people struggle with being judged, having a lot of people that have opinions about what they've chosen to do. And I just kind of want to share with you what I have done and what I've mentored a lot of the men and women that I coach in my business and that I coach in fitness. On how to deal with it, because it's a real thing. It's something we see in our society, and it's something that kind of needs to stop. But that's a whole other issue. But this is how I have dealt with it. So I know that, when you decide to take on a new goal, when you decide to have kids, when you decide to get married, you get all sorts of opinions. And a lot of times you do feel judged, or you feel like you've got a lot of critics. I know that, with having children, I get a lot of opinions, and a lot of advice. And when, on how to raise them from all sorts of people. But specifically, I'm going to refer this to goals like in business as well, because that is where I've definitely seen my share. I do put myself out there. I've built a business on social media, and I do that because my goal is to inspire others, especially women, to have self-confidence and to live their life and to actually live their life to the fullest. I believe you can be a good mother, you can be a good employee or business owner, you can be a good wife, and you can truly have what you desire to have. But with that comes a lot of opinions. I will put videos up, I will do things, and I get lots of great feedback. But of course, I get some haters as well. And I've had some pretty hurtful things said, but you guys, it just happens in life. Like, it happens everywhere. It happens to our children at school. And as someone that does put herself out there to, inspire others, I feel that it's something that I need to address. So you can't stop it. You can't stop everybody's opinions. But here is how I've dealt with it. So I look at what I'm doing. I look at what my goal is, or what I'm, what my actions are. And I'm like, is this hurting other people in a bad way? Because if it's not, then why do they need to have opinions about it? Is it affecting, is it negatively affecting other people? Usually not. So that's the first thing that I do is my goal hurting other people? Was my goal to get fit and do my workouts and get in great shape after having 3 kids? Did that hurt other people? No, it actually benefited my health. It benefited my family because it gave them, a mom with more energy. But I got lots of opinions. So I look at that and I look at, is my goal hurting anyone? And if it's not, then why is there an opinion about it? Secondly, are you really being judged, or are you just feeling that? Sometimes it can be a perception that we have, like we're thinking that other people are judging us, or we have a fear of something that's not even happening, like a fear of judgment, because we think people are going to be criticizing us. But really, who's being critical? Is it you, or is, of yourself, or is it actually other people? Sometimes it's both. Often it's both. But don't let fear of judgment or fear of critics hold you back from your goals, because they're your goals. They're something that you want to do for you or for your family. And if it's not hurting other people, then why are you listening to them? I always say, and I've said this, my girls that I coach are probably like, oh, she says this all the time. If you wouldn't trade places with that person that's giving you that opinion, then why are you listening to their opinion? Like, seriously, it's like, why would you listen to somebody you wouldn't trade places with? Like, so if they're giving you an opinion, then and they're judging you or they're critical of you or whatever, think about, well, would I trade places with this person? I was talking to one of my girls last week that I'm coaching, I'm mentoring her in business, and she's like, oh my gosh, I am like, I've got these opinions from my family. It's really affecting me. And it wasn't her husband or anything like that. It was outside family. And I was like, well, would you trade places with any of them? And she was like, no, they're all not in good spots in their life. I'm like, then why are you listening to them? Like, stop listening to that. It's not helpful, and they don't have authority to speak into that. Now, if you would trade places with them and they're cautioning you and giving you good advice, that's different. But also, those people typically don't come to you and judge you. They come in love. They want to help guide you and mentor you. So that's a little bit different. So also think about that. The other thing that I make sure that I do is that I surround myself with positive people. No, it's not always possible. But on social media, it sure is. So if you're seeing like negative posts from like people constantly and it just bums you out, like if you're scrolling the feed and you're like, gosh, like, that's so negative, or I feel attacked from that, there's a defriend button and a defollow button, and don't be afraid to use it. I use it all the time. I'm like, you know what? Like you don't have to surround yourself with that. So if you're, I see all these people are like, oh, I'm taking a break from social media. It's so negative. And I'm like, who are your friends? Like, and I'm just telling you this because I want to help you, but like, go through there. If they're affecting you like that, then just defriend or unfollow. If you unfollow someone, they won't even know, unless they're tracking their followers. But I don't think a lot of people have time for that. But if it's truly affecting you, like mentally in your heart, then just unfollow or unfriend, because you want to surround yourself with a supportive environment, especially when you take on a big goal or a new goal. You want to have that support system. And yeah, social media can affect you negatively, but you also get a choice, and you can go on there and defriend or unfollow. No big deal. It's just, it's not helpful. And, I always tell people that it's kind of like watching the news. It's like you could be in a great mood and you go watch the news, and then suddenly you just feel like, oh my gosh, I feel so depressed. And so you kind of have to make those choices and see how things affect you. Some people, it doesn't affect them. But other people, like me, I'm more sensitive to what others are feeling. I'm definitely a more emotional person. It does affect me. My husband isn't that way. It doesn't affect him like that. Totally different personalities. So kind of gauge where you're at and what you're allowing to fill your mind. Is it positive or negative? Now, here's my biggest thing that I use to help me with when I feel judged or I feel like I've got a lot of critics is, or if I'm judging myself, which happens a lot. I'm very we can all be very critical of ourselves, is what would I tell my kids? So if my child is like, so-and-so says I can't do this, or they're saying this about me or that, what would I tell my kids? I would tell my kids, yes, you can do anything you put your mind to. Yes, you can accomplish this goal. And you shouldn't allow so-and-so's opinion to affect you like that. That is what I would tell my kids. So that is what I also tell myself. Because guess what? My kids are watching everything I do. So if I'm not practicing what I tell them, then they're going to grow up and they're going to allow other people's opinions to dictate their lives. Listen, I spent a portion of my life where I allowed other people's opinions, or what I thought other people's opinions were of me, to dictate my life. We went through a really bad hardship, and it knocked me on my booty, and it pretty much could have destroyed our family. We went through a financial ruin. We had lost a business. Our daughter was sick with a very it was just a really awful time, you guys. We didn't know what her fate was going to be. And also, if you've ever had a sick kid, you also get lots of opinions. It's crazy. And that really knocked me on my rear. And for a while, I just allowed opinions and critics and judgments to come into my life and dictate what I was doing. And I was miserable. But I allowed it. So I had to go and be like, you know what? No more. I'm not going to allow this to affect me anymore. So and I still deal with it. I mean, it's still hurtful when you get an opinion. Sometimes it's not. Some of them are actually kind of funny now, but some of them are, they are hurtful because we're all humans. And at the heart of our issue is, I mean, our hearts, we all want to be accepted, right? Everybody just wants to be accepted. So when you get a hurtful comment or a negative comment, it does affect you. There's no doubt about it. You can't just stuff it away. You have to deal with it. And so that's what I've learned to do over the years. And that's what I wanted to share with you, because this is something that I know is very real. So let me just summarize. Look at your goal or what you're doing. Is it hurting or affecting someone else or yourself in a negative way? If it's not, then next. Are you really being judged by someone else, or is it just that fear of judgment that you have that somebody might judge you and it's actually, the critic between your ears? Is it you judging yourself? You really have to take a look at that. Or is it other people? Would you trade, if it is someone else, would you trade places with them? Do they have authority to talk about the issue? I mean, do they have authority to speak into that? If not, if you wouldn't trade places with them, then stop listening to them. Next, if you have children, what would you tell your kids? If they're in the same situation, what would you tell your kids to do? Would you tell them like, yeah, you should probably just not go for that goal because, you should just allow so-and-so's opinion to let you, hold you back? No. Would you tell them they're not good enough? You would never do that. So don't do that to yourself, because remember, your kids are watching you, and also, you don't want them to see you hold yourself back, because if you tell them not to allow opinions of others, which if you have children today, they are getting, there's a lot of bullying, there's cyberbullying, there's bullying in school, there's so many bad things happening to our poor kids today. With judgment and with critics, they need to be prepared. So you need to help prepare them. And this is what you can do. You can be their example and show them. I remember one time I was going for, it's when I actually decided to build my business that I have. I have a pretty successful business with Beachbody that has allowed my family some really cool opportunities. And one of them was I took my family to Europe almost 3 years ago. Like, we did a one-way ticket to Europe. We spent a couple months in Europe. And this was a dream that my husband and I had had for years. Like, we thought we would do it when we were retired, but we were able to do it sooner, which is really cool. And so, yeah, we pulled our kids out of school, our 3 young kids, and we bought a one-way to London. And we spent time in London. We spent a month traveling around France. We spent a month traveling around Italy. It was incredible. Well, guess what? We got lots of judgment for that. We had a lot of support. A lot of people were like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm like, I can't believe you guys are doing that. That's awesome." And then we had a lot of people that were like, that is so irresponsible to take your kids out of school. That's irresponsible to go overseas. That, what if something happens? Like, what about this? What about that? Like, tons of opinions, you guys. It was actually pretty interesting. So what if I would have just said, oh, well, somebody told us we were bad parents for taking our kids out of school. What if I would have allowed that to hold us back? I would have, that trip, you guys, was so incredible for our family. It brought us closer together. Those are experiences that our family has, our family of 5, that, and it changed our family, it for the better. I mean, we have a great family. I love my children, I love my husband, but that trip was incredible. And the bonding that we had on that trip was so awesome. And and we had our struggles. We were over there, and if you've ever traveled with small children, it can be interesting. But I can't imagine not having that experience. was incredible. It changed our lives. And what if I would have allowed those opinions to hold us back? Because I was scared. I mean, to do that, it was scary. Buy a one-way to a foreign country with, my family, my 3 small kids. But I was also knew that was something that we wanted to do and that it would benefit our family. But I was scared. And what if I would have allowed all those opinions to hold us back and not go? I can't even imagine. And there's so many situations like that in life. Some are small and some are big, but really look at that and think about it. And, and then also these are your goals. Everybody's different. Nobody's walked in your shoes. Nobody knows where you've been or what you've been through. And so how can they make those, judgments about you? So anyway, I just kind of wanted to get on there and share that with you guys, because I feel like so often we allow that, the perception of feeling judged. We may not even be being judged. It may just be ourselves. So you got to get really honest with yourself. Or you do have comments from others. Like I've definitely had my share. But don't allow that to hold you back from what you really want. Don't allow that to hold you back from the life that that you have right now. Life is a gift, you guys. Like not everybody gets this gift. I have, there's so many people that, have a short time here and they would give anything to have extra time. And if you have that time, then live your life, live out your goals, and make sure that you're not allowing others or yourself, like your judgments of yourself, to hold you back, because you only get one life. And it's just an incredible gift that we have. And, and that's something that I teach my kids. It's something that I teach the people that I mentor in business. And I wanted to share with you guys today. So if you found that helpful, please leave a comment. I know it's a pretty raw video for me to do. It's not something I typically do on my page, but I just felt really led to do it today. But if you feel like this has helped you in any way, please leave a comment. Feel free to share it. My goal is just to really help people increase their self-confidence and really embrace who they are and really go for it. Live their life by their design. So I hope you all have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. And if you're in Portland, we have sunshine today. How awesome is that? I'm so excited. So anyway, have an awesome day. Bye-bye.